Welcome back to Talk Horror to Me, the only movie review horror podcast that knows never to pledge a frat or a sorority. Before we bring on Ashley and Brooke, Carly's taking some time off. We will see her soon. Love you. Let's see what we're looking at tonight. Tonight, we review Black Christmas. Black Christmas is a 2019 American slasher film directed by Sophia Takal and written by Takal and April Wolfe. Part of the Black Christmas series, it is the loose second remake of the 1974 Canadian film of the same name after the 2006 film. The film stars Imogen Poots Aleyse Shannon, Donoghue Brittany O'Grady, Caleb Eberhardt, and Cary Elwes. In Black Christmas, Hawthorne College is quieting down for the holidays as students travel home to spend time with their families. But as Riley and her sorority sisters prepare to deck the halls with seasonal parties, a mysterious cloaked figure starts to leave a bloody trail throughout the campus. Refusing to become hapless victims, Riley and her friends decide to band together and fight back against the psychotic Christmas killer. So a very involved intro. I must say that was a lot longer than usual. Who picked this film, kids?
Me, I did.
All right, Brooke. Before we find out what you were thinking, who do you want to talk to first?
I want to know Ashley's thoughts on it.
Okay, so at first, I was like into this movie. The beginning, intro of this film was beautiful. I loved the Scream vibes. I'm a huge Scream girly myself, so I was invested. We've got a killer. It's Christmas time. Let's do this. And then quickly there was an introduced agenda, which generally I can get behind, but also my nature is very there's two sides to every story. There's so many layers to big issues like this. I say, as a person, for anyone who's out there, there's a huge SA trigger for this movie. A lot of discussion on that. So as someone who is an SA survivor, I felt that it was too much of a focus in the wrong ways. That was kind of my initial vibe, and it took me out of the film a little bit and was really, really hard for me to get back into it because it was a very much fighting fire with fire type of situation. Everyone just kept escalating it instead of there being a resolve, and it just took away from the killer aspect. Mm-hmm. That was my initial thought. So, Chuck?
All right. With that, I would tell you it was very kind of Me Too forward.
A little bit.
And I believe that was probably the intent of the filmmakers, that they wanted to tell that story. It's different. It's not something we typically see. We typically see a lot of final girl empowerment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we did get that in this film. My biggest concern, because Brooke asked us to watch this movie, and as a completist, realizing there was two other films of the same name, I wanted to watch them all, and I did. And I did a comparative analysis of all three films. This one strays the farthest away from the actual source material, other than there being people in a sorority, other than there being a white cat. But beyond that, that's kind of where all the similarities end, and it takes a whole different tack to a very 60s vibe of sorcery and clandestine groups. And while it was effective through the first two thirds of the film, in the final act, when we get kind of that up against the machine and female empowerment, they're basically taking all the bad guys down, I felt it got really clunky with let me tell you the whole reason why we're doing this. And when you pump the brakes in any movie to explain my motivations, for me that's a miss. So I think while I got behind a lot of what was happening, I love, like you said, the Scream-esque chases, and it didn't seem very supernatural. We're using archery, we're using lights. There was a lot of cool things at play. But at the end of the day, I think as soon as we heard from the from Cary Elwes's character. I was like, wah, wah, wah. I'm stopping. Let's just get back to killing people. Brooke?
Okay, my thoughts on it. I'm a sexual assault survivor as well. And so I looked at it as a different point of view. I liked it that she finally stood up for herself. And she finally fought the guy that, did that to her. So I took it as a different aspect on it. The whole Me Too thing, it really didn't, I didn't like it as much. But yeah, the whole storyline, I got behind that. Like the whole men, rule the world or whatever. I got behind that.
And we all know that that's a big problem here, of course.
Yeah.
I do think that back to Ashley's point, where there was this escalation. So like, hey, we're going to sing this song, and we're all going to look like bimbos in our little outfits because they think we're going to do something different.
Yeah.
And then we just put it on Front Street, not to be put online. I didn't mean that to happen. But there was like some things, I guess, for the narrative flow. Sure, it might have worked. But for me, I think I would have loved it to be more almost one-on-one.
Mm-hmm.
But they kind of made it like, because it was Black Christmas, we need to have a sorority. We need to have several people killed, not just the one that's the troublemaker. So I can't really assess based on how you two would assess the film. But I just like, narratively speaking, I think they could have been a lot stronger in terms of like the pacing, in terms of the resolution, everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that the pacing was definitely off a lot because they threw a lot of, I want to say like keywords at us is what we got. A lot of these popular words that you're going to throw around in posts to get like a lot of engagement out of it. Like I got that vibe off of it. And then they just did not actually explore or really work things into the storyline. They just threw it at us.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the conversation was they in the coffee shop, I think, with the friends, and the one friend looks over and is like, why aren't you signing my petition?
Mm-hmm.
And like basically shaming for that person not wanting to come forward. And so not everybody needs to. Not everyone needs to come forward and talk about their trauma. Not everyone needs to be a part of the fight. Sorry. So to actually highlight and shame people for being quiet, and then to make that kind of a stab and a poke at the very end, like they even made it like a quippy little quirk, and I was like, oh, that hurts. That hurts for a lot of people out there who aren't comfortable with talking and don't want the confrontation. Like, you're fine. You keep doing you, people. You're doing great.
So let me just to reiterate so you're okay with that girl like standing outside the academic building trying to get everybody to sign a petition, like that's fine. Like trying to chase people, I was like, sign my petition. But like when they were in a coffee shop where it's like, why aren't you? You kind of took offense at that. Yeah,
a little bit, and not even a personal offense, because I'm vocal all the time about how I feel, but I would never shame someone for not being vocal. Yeah. Like everyone has their own battles they're fighting.
So it was a little insensitive just in like certain spots.
Yeah, and to have such this is the feminist empowerment movement. Okay, well, we have to be empowering of all of us, not just the ones that are okay with being vocal and loud, but everyone, because all of our voices matter, no matter how quiet it is.
Yeah, because you can tell it just happened, like it recently happened, so she wasn't okay talking about it. Like
right, and then to want to put your name like on the paper and make yourself even more of a target is just kind of, I don't know. I thought that was a little line crossing.
Okay,
but that was just me. I could see where people would be like, nah, what are you talking about?
Yeah, and I think that you come at it with a very a deeper set of knowledge. So like I said, for me, it was like I was like, why are you guys bickering to each other? It was like I mean, for me, it didn't like plot the story, but it was just kind of, I don't know, why you guys hassling each other. I thought you guys are all part of a sorority. You should be working together. Shirley says, I watched the first one and read the synopsis of the 2006 and 19 version. The first Black Christmas was okay first time, but 2006 was a little better. 2019 was more of a political point movie. I think we all can get behind. That's or at least not political, not a political point movie, but more of a cultural point movie that we're trying to get across. So absolutely great.
Yeah.
And with that being said, I mean, I think we should move to like the most important and exciting things that have to do with anything when it comes to horror films is the killing. I'm all about the killing. You know that. Yeah. The less killing, the less body count, the less I like it. No, that's not true. But I would love to go first with this film.
Yeah, go ahead.
I will say, this kind of goes back to Ashley's kind of summary of like the very beginning of the film before we kind of get into the character development. That girl walking home, looking over her shoulder, and a guy's on his phone behind her, and that in and of itself is a statement of how women feel with by themselves with men around. So I think that was a very positive way and a very visceral way to say a lot of things that had to be stated verbatim later on. Like I think they could have done it more with like the symbolism and just like understanding the way a woman feels when they're walking alone and there's somebody like behind them. But the snow angel, my favorite kill, honestly, was the very beginning where she does try to like bang on the doors to get in people's houses and nobody answers because they're stupid idiots. But then she ends up getting an icicle. She ends up on the ground. And as she's being pulled away, a beautiful snow angel emerges. So for me, I love the graphic view of that. Ashley, how about you, Ashley? Yeah, how about you, Ashley? You seem to be ready for it.
I love that scene. Like that, I was so into it. That was just so beautiful. That would probably be my favorite. That whole kill and just everything, the sequence was so spot on. But my next favorite would also be a scene that I was very conflicted about. And that is like the going batshit crazy scene. Do you guys know which one I'm referring to?
Keep talking.
Double tapping, basically. We're gonna go back. We're gonna go back. We're gonna do a little bit of double tappy. I loved that. I loved the outrage that she was just going through. I didn't really get to know her character too much and why she has all of the frustration that she has. It felt like it was very much on behalf of other women that she had this frustration a little bit. But she went for it. Like she had the frustration and it opened up for another opportunity that I thought was very sneaky, very clever, and just kind of made us realize there's multiple killers in this situation.
Yeah, I do like that as well. We're going to let Brooke go, and we'll put Carly on deck because Carly's with us in spirit and through comments. So, Carly, please let us know what your favorite kill was while we go to Brooke. What was your favorite?
My favorite kill is when Helena got her neck broke. That was my favorite kill. I could not stand Helena. I couldn't stand her. I hated her. But that was my favorite kill.
That was very visceral. Goodness gracious.
Yeah. She was a backstabber. Like, who does that to her sisters?
Right. Very and nothing but kindness too to her. I mean, like she was shown nothing but kindness. Like there wasn't even a motive for her to be the way that she was.
Yeah. Agreed. Oh, Carly's with me in the Snow Angel. So it's like I think we got three at least for the Snow Angel. I loved it. I did love that scene. I was hoping that the rest of the film would be that way.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. And I would say go back to the backstabbing. And I'm not in a sorority, so I don't know. But I mean, I'm assuming that just like when you get a bunch of people in the house, it's going to be catty. It's going to be drama. Not everybody's getting along. That seemed to be the thread through all the films. That these girls in their sorority, they had a house mother named Mrs. Mack, and there was a cat running around. And it seemed like they were just super, super dysfunctional no matter what. I think the kinder, gentler one was the original one, where people were actually the girl was killed in the park or killed and they couldn't find her, so they all went out. Most of them went out to help. But yeah, this one just seems like everybody just didn't care at all about each other in so many ways. And I'm like, wow, that doesn't seem like a sorority I want to be a part of.
That's true.
That's all right. So, Snow Angel, thank you, Carly. Appreciate you. With that said, Brooke, has anybody, actually, I know you said you didn't, I don't think, But Brooke, you saw all 3 versions?
Yes, I saw all 3 versions.
Okay, so
It's been a
all
while
3. Okay, so would this be your favorite one, or?
Yes, this one is my favorite one, but I do like the 2006 one because that one's more gory. But I didn't pick that one because it's a little bit more gory.
I'm sorry, what show were we on?
I'm sorry.
This is not Love Connection. Still, with more gore, the better.
I didn't want to show gore stuff.
That would be a good takeaway. This one was more of a feel-good movie for me than it was a horror movie. I think that's one thing that kind of just took me back. It was the whole sisterhood connection and everything. Oh, love you, Carly.
Love you, Carly. Love you, Carly. Yeah, and I think the other thing is that I think there was, again, the first film, 1974, was Canadian. There's a lot of C words, both for women and men in the original, which I was like, oh my God, why are they saying this on screen? I realized, oh yeah, it's Canadian, not American. So that was weird. Then, like you said, 2006 got really bipolar in the sane asylum and more gory, which I loved. And then this one, it seemed like it was almost like it was trying to be PG. It's like, it seemed like a lot of it was really subtle.
Yeah.
After school special is how this made me feel, where they have a good point they want to get across, but they do it in an after school special type of way, and none of us pay attention to that.
Yeah.
So where did the black stuff come from? Was it wool, or what was that was coming out?
Well, that was from
magic.
At the very beginning, there was a line from whatever the guy's name was, Hawthorne, which is he was the founder of the school, and basically the quote is basically kind of like black magic-y. And if you remember toward the end, which is again annoying, where they explain it all, where they say, yeah, when the bus was forced to be taken out of the school and put and given to the frat house because we didn't want it on display because I guess he was a sexist, and they found some sort of scroll or ritual under the bust, in the bust, and they obviously, frats being frats, they decided to read the ritual, and then just the stuff started oozing out of the bust, like this black magic, and you just adorn it, and all of a sudden you're, some crazy killer. So, I mean, so they explained it. It did make me feel better about it, but I was like, okay, I guess this is the way we're going here. So in reality, you could blame the girl who signed the petition to get the bust out of the main chambers to begin with, then that frat house never would have had a problem.
That's true.
I mean, that was kind of the whole plot of the movie. Had she never have wanted the petition to get signed because she got... I wish that they would have went back and actually shown, if they love to give the backstory so much, show us the actual conversation between her and the initial professor that started this whole thing, because I think she just misinterpreted him. If we're being honest, if I have to point the finger at who started all of this, she got her feelings hurt for no reason. She hurt her own feelings. And then all of this happened. And now her sisters are dead.
Yeah, I mean, there was a whole thing about how there was no female authors in that English course, right? That was her original thing of like, well, there's no women that were studying on a syllabus this year.
But then there was.
And which I thought was fairly interesting. I don't know how true or not true that quote was, that the person who said that was actually female as a writer. So I don't know if that was a real classic writer or not. But yeah, very interesting. Again, had you just not had that petition about this stupid bust, this whole movie would have been over in about 10 minutes. But that being said, I agree. While the opening sequence of the walking home kill was pretty good. We could have seen like her wagging the finger as some administrator as they're boxing up the bus to like dolly it out of the main halls. Mm-hmm. And I think that would have been like a little more telling than just trying to explain it to us after the fact.
I wish that they would have done this in more of like a Body Snatchers type of way. You know what I mean? Like where the bust possessed everyone, because it kind of did. I mean, it kind of turned what's-his-face into a sexist pig, and he was like the dad joke awesome guy. It turned him all evil. So if they would have went that route with it, I probably would have been super, super on board. But they didn't. They made the whole plot like something completely different, and then had a plot device of supernatural thrown in there that was like, but how? But why?
Yeah. The idea that like this ichor like brought out your true alpha nature, I think is also kind of a disservice because it's not. But that one guy who was the joke daddy wanted to be the nice guy, he did kind of sit by the sidelines a little and didn't get taken over as quote unquote alpha. So there was some redemption there as well, I would say. So
What that say about his character though? He just didn't have any. We all got a little bit of alpha in us. Okay, it's okay.
Very true. Very true. But with
He was
being
like
alpha,
he was trying to like hold back. He was trying to like
Yes.
hold back
his alpha,
yeah.
trying to keep the wolf away. But I want to know, aside from keeping the wolf away, how we're going to rate this masterpiece of a film. And as always, the selector of the film gets to choose who goes first.
I'm gonna go with Ashley.
Okay, even though it sounds like I absolutely hated this movie, I didn't absolutely hate it. I'm gonna give this a 3.7 because the movie's filmed beautifully. Like cinematically, it's a good film. The kills are awesome. Like if you look at everything that we would grade other horror movies at, we would, this is a good film. It was literally just one huge element of the plot that just kind of took away from the movie. But knowing that there's three total movies of this, that makes me feel like I've been a little harsh towards the directors and producers of this film because they were trying to do something different.
Yeah.
So I'll give them that. It wasn't like offensive or anything of that nature. So 3.7, they got me with the dad jokes.
Okay. All right. I mean, for me, again, it's not the top of the three for me. I think a 2006 would be the one I would go with. That being said, I'm definitely going to grade it lower. I agree with you. I think cinematically they did a good job, very Scream-esque quality to it with the chasing and in jeopardy components. But again, falls apart in the last third for me with the let's break everything, bring it to a screeching halt so I can explain your place in the world. Not my cup of tea in terms of like pacing in that way. So for me, I'll give it 3.5 claws, which is the white cat.
Oh, okay.
And Brooke.
Me, I'm going to give it I'm going to rate it a little higher. I liked it. So I'm going to rate it 4.8, I guess, light bulbs. Christmas
Oh, good.
Oh, all right. Well,
that was clever.
I will tell you there was the one beautifully shot scene, which is kind of an homage to the earlier one, the 1974, where the girl, one of the early girls get killed, is on the outside balcony roof, and she's got she's all wrapped up, and she's got the the bag over her head, and then they pan back from the car to show you that she's dead and just outside to the elements. Yeah. Very much an homage to the earlier films because 1974, pretty much every other kill was done with like some sort of plastic bag to asphyxiate the victims. So I did love that. So again, lots of the filmmakers were cognizant enough of history to do some cool things with it. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know what else. But you know what? I don't know what else. I have no clue what else. So I couldn't even tell you what else is. I have no idea who's next. I want to say it's Ashley.
Yeah.
Is it me?
It is you. I was like, oh,
I don't have a movie. I don't have a movie.
I don't have a movie. Chuck, do you already have a movie?
I do. I mean, I tell you what, I've been going back and watching the Terrifier movies and All Hallows Eve. I watched that. I would not recommend that to watch because it's a little hokey. No, I don't have a film. So I guess, Ashley, you're going to have to either on the fly this thing, or maybe we just leave it as a surprise. And when we announce the next event, we announce the next event.
Surprise! It'll be a surprise. That was what I wanted to do all along, and that way it would be a Christmas surprise.
That's true. And I believe that this next week, I check my calendar. We have the 17th will be our next episode next Sunday. But then we have the 24th with this Christmas Eve and the 31st, New Year's Eve. So I think this movie that you pick, Ashley, will be the last and most important film to review for 2023.
The pressure is on.
This shit just got real.
It did. It did. What if we let our viewers pick our last movie? I'm trying to get out of it now. No,
no, you got to take responsibility. No New Year's resolutions like, hey, maybe this year Ashley will pick films on time. Come on. You got to do it.
No one hold your breath.
Well, you know what we'll do? We'll have a powwow. We'll go behind scenes in our clandestine private chat rooms, and we'll discuss like what could be a good last film for the year.
You can do Krampus. I don't know.
Oh, Krampus? Yeah.
Krampus,
I think that's on what, Peacock or Paramount?
I think so.
Yeah.
But they made it so many
Krampus.
times. Yeah, I don't think we have either.
Ashley, I love your
And they're
face.
like,
The contemplation is amazing. I love it.
Let's do Krampus. That's what I want. I want
All right, so
Krampus.
So just to make
Shirley
sure
said
that we
that.
know, this would be the newest one. Is
What's
it new?
the
I see a 2015 version that is
I want to
on.
do the newest.
All right, let's see. I say newest crowd. Sorry, people. This is how professional we are.
Yeah, we are.
Hello. Okay, so because I see one
We're
on
just
Netflix,
real.
I just gotta find. All right, so I tell you what, we know we're doing Krampus. We will try to get the most recent version of Krampus, and obviously on something that's streaming for free. So that is our pledge to you, our audience. And in the meantime, we'll just figure it out which one. So we got the right year, the right streaming service. We just know it's Krampus.
yeah, Krampus 2015, I think.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
see
on
that.
Hulu and Peacock.
Woohoo! That's
All
the
right,
one
so-
we're doing. You heard
Okay.
it here.
You heard here for
Heard it.
Krampus 2015, Hulu, and Peacock. Okay. I'm okay with that because I've never seen it, although I keep seeing it listed online as
Me too.
something I should be watching. So
Yeah, I've never watched. Well, maybe I've watched one of them.
I mean,
I don't know.
Brooke has got every
I
one of
haven't.
them on Criterion Collection. So
Not this time. Not this time.
oh, not this time. Okay.
By next Sunday, she's going to be like, "Guess what, guys?
I got the unrated director's cut.
I found it. I walked outside. It was just sitting right there."
The Criterion Fairies brought it to me. I get it. It's cool.
That's
I
how
mean-
it's got to be happening like that.
And as you can see, it's definitely not in the background where Brooke is. She has a side
yeah.
room with all her
Yeah.
collections, like a library with like big high top
Yeah,
chairs,
my head.
all oak, very earthy and dark. So that's where she holds all of it.
I believe it.
I do too, right? I totally believe it. But ladies, I mean, I'm sorry that. Well, I was happy to see Carly come and go, but that was awesome that she was able to jump on. So thank you, Carly. I know you're now away. And for you, my ladies, my mavens, my witches, love to you both. And with that, I will bid you adieu and adieu. And with that, thank you very much for joining us for another Sunday night, another dysfunctional Sunday night. And just to let you know, we are always here to scare you later.